Welcome to the Homeschool Together podcast. Where one working mom and a stay-at-home dad help you navigate the nuts and bolts of the growing and dynamic world of homeschooling.
With a focus on early learners, like me.
All the ins and outs of building and maintaining your homeschool life.
Homeschool.
Find out tips and tricks to make things like this easier.
I'm reading.
And ultimately, enjoy educating your kids. And what's that last thing?
Have fun together. Did I do good, Daddy?
Yeah, you did, sweetie. Good job. Hello and welcome to Homeschool Together. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be talking about the big time challenges that I know all of us are going to go through, which is homeschooling through the holidays. We have at least 3 weeks, most of us, that are going to be really filled with a lot of activity, a lot of, potentially family if you're coming in. I know we're still in the pandemic, but I know a lot of people will be getting together with their quarantines, as I heard it's called about. And we want to make sure that we don't lose ground. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, please connect with us, head down into the show notes. All the links are down there, Facebook group, Instagram. Please join us. We also have a link down there for our resource guide. Please sign up for that. It's a really great free guide that we put together. We want to make sure you get a hold of it, help you through your early kindergarten travels around the world.
So we just wanted to thank everyone who's left iTunes reviews. And we just have a special request. iTunes reviews really help us to be discovered by new folks. There's lots of podcasts out there, and how do you know if they're good? Giving a review is a personal recommendation.
Yeah, and I'm tired of a 3-year-old podcast sitting ahead of us that's dead.
I know, right? And
Come on, guys.
If you listen to us and you like this podcast, you're part of our group, and you think that this is a good show that you'd like other people to hear about, really the best thing that you can do for us is just take a couple of minutes. If you can actually go into Apple Podcasts and write a review, just a few sentences that you really like the show, it means so much to us, and it will help a lot of people find our show, and we just want to help as many families as we can. So that's my special plug. Please go out there and leave us reviews if you can. We would so very much appreciate it.
Don't make Ariel upset. She takes it out on me.
That is not true.
It's not true. Ish. Not really. All right. Talk about family strife. We're getting into the holiday seasons.
I know, right? This episode was kind of born out of us going, well, what are we going to do through the holidays?
Well, yeah, and we began to talk a lot about it, and we wanted to kind of talk through some of those ideas we have, some of the things that we're going to do through the holidays, and some of our thinking, and hopefully maybe you guys can take that into your home and, continue to have success, even though, our brains are going to be fried. We're going to We're going to have, family members in, the crazy uncle in the corner.
We're going to be in food comas. Well,
drinking all the eggnog.
Things are going to be different this year too, right? It's first of all, I don't think it's really a 3-week thing. It's like from the start of Thanksgiving week to New Year's Day, it's a season, and there's a lot going on. This year things are going to be even different. Maybe you're having family come in, or maybe you're not, and that's its own brand of strangeness. So, I know a lot of families are trying to do more than they would normally plan because, they can't have family come in and stuff. So they're going bigger in their own family to try to kind of make up for some of the differences this year and still make it very exciting for their families. But that's as great as that is, and I think awesome, it's also a struggle with trying to maintain where we're at. I know we've been talking about our daughter is working on reading, and
the reading's the big thing for us right now.
What do we do? It's like, do I plan curriculum? What do we do with weeks and things getting messed up as, we had this plan, but then this thing's going on and we're going to go do this instead, and going to pick out a Christmas tree and all the things, and stuff just getting changed from our plans. How do we deal with that?
Just overwhelming in general, because I remember back to before we had the little one and we were homeschooling with the older one. the holiday season was just, it was just a derailing event.
I mean, it's chaos, right? There's all kinds of food, and
this
there's
was before
anticipation
pandemic.
of presents.
People are in town for a week. Then we go off somewhere else for.
Well, we're watching a lot of TV, right? Because there's
TV,
all the different Christmas movies, and our daughter's so into those, and so
I'm watching Die Hard, the only Christmas movie ever, every night.
I mean, we're watching Christmas movies, Christmas specials. We're doing Christmas crafts. We're baking cookies. There's so much sugar and fat, and I'm not saying I don't love it.
Dad's in the garage working out, trying to...
but it's a lot, and so you're trying to maintain some semblance of normalcy.
And now you toss on top of that, we're in the middle of a pandemic, right? So it's
right, but all this stuff, and so we started having this conversation about, as you know, if you've listened to the podcast, I'm the planner, and Matt's the primary educator, and so we sat down, and I'm like, well, what should I plan? Like, how do I set us up for success? I want us all to have a joyous and happy holiday as a family and get to do all the fun things. But I don't want to lose ground with some of the stuff that you're working on. Because we've noticed even taking a week off for a birthday.
The birthday week was a derailing event. We
took it off from reading, and it was kind of hard to get.
It was hard to get back into the flow. A lot of times, I know the moms in the crowd, and I, we have that connection. We have that wavelength. We understand each other, and we know we get in our rhythm. It's like a little heartbeat, right? And we don't want an arrhythmia going on. It starts shaking and have to try to get back into it, right? We love our routine. It's so funny how kids are really good with routines. I'm really good with routines. I like to have that same thing happen every day because it's very predictable.
It's comforting.
It's very comforting, but I also know what I can accomplish in that time, right? So we were just chatting that it was just a completely derailing event for her birthday week because she was with family, and then she came back, and
there were so many presents, and there was several different
every day
kids were stopping in to drop off presents because we couldn't have a party, and so it was just like
it was just wild.
It was like a birthday week and a half.
It
just never ended.
And so we were starting to think about it. How are we going to do this holiday season? Because it's just
going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy. So, I know there's the moms out there just like world class, 100% A+. You guys are just going to do what you're going to do, and you're going to continue to homeschooling because
you're going to rock it.
Because you're awesome, right? And you don't have a 17-month who climbs on the walls. So it's true. It's true.
I'm like a little scared to set up that Christmas tree. I'm not going to say. She's just.
Holy cow.
She climbs everything. She's. This child will push a chair across the house to climb up on the stove. That's the kind of child.
I just realized that she's going to be on the top of that tree.
I mean, I don't really know, but it's going to be.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right?
It just hit me.
I mean, it's not even breaking of ornaments that I'm concerned about. It's just.
She's going to be shaking it.
I think we should put the gate up.
We're going to have to get... Okay, the guys, we're getting off track here.
We're getting off track, but the look of fear that just crossed Matthew's face, I just want you all to know. He had not thought of the logistics of this.
I had not thought about the tree.
We have a girl who literally, she did a pull-up on the dryer the other day. Yeah. This kid did a pull-up on the dryer door and used her bare feet.
And it wasn't one of those cheap kip-ups. It was a full-on pull-up.
Right. She climbed up the dryer door with her feet and got on top of the dryer. I just... Right. So we're in for it.
Yeah, we're in for it. All right. Anyway, so, you may be one of those supercharged turbo moms, and you're going to be awesome. So don't worry about it. But for the most of us...
This episode's not for you.
Yeah, this episode's not for you. Go to the back, hit the showers, you're done for the day. But for most of us, for me, a big thing that I've always, kind of put into my mentality is this kind of Pareto distribution of
things. You're going to have to explain Pareto.
So basically you just say, okay, you have all these things. Let's say there's 10 things. One thing may appear more than the other. Typically, this is like you want to count something that happens. We used to do this with customer feedback. Here's all the customer feedback we have. We keep getting asked about these 5 things 100 times, and then we have another 100 items that are only being asked 1 or 2 times. Mm-hmm. So where do you put your time and effort and resources, right? So you obviously put them on number 1, number 2, number 3, right? That 80-20 rule, we've probably all heard that. So you do kind of a Pareto distribution, and you figure out what is the most important thing. This has been something that I've always used whenever I get kind of, it gets tense and I get paralyzed on what I have to do. I say, okay, step back. What is the most important thing? Tackle that first. Dave Ramsey has the same idea with debt reduction, right? You always pay off the smallest bill first and you roll that forward, right? So you get that psychological effect of achieving the most important thing or the most achievable thing. And so I think we should all approach this similarly and say we cannot sit there and do our normal routine of 2 hours a day when grandma and grandpa are in the other room. That's just not achievable
Well,
scenario.
and I don't even know if it has to be when they're visiting. Just the whole
week. I mean, you're going to be busy. You're going to be, running around doing errands or
they're
doing
amped
presents
too. The
and
kids
everybody
are amped
knows
up.
it's coming up. Maybe if it's a 3-year-old, they don't really know what's coming up, but a 6 or 7, 8-year-old, they're going to know what's coming.
I mean, our daughter is like she's
Already getting geared up.
Yeah, well, and she's going to have her Lego Advent calendar, so she's going to be every day is going to be
Legos.
a thing.
So I would say for the first thing that everybody should do is look across the distribution of all the activities that you're doing, whether it's literature, copy work, handwriting, math, reading, whatever that topic is, and say, what is the most important thing? So for example, for us, it's reading. Reading is going to be the most important thing. And so we'll put that as number one, and maybe we'll pick a second one. For me, the second one might be art, because I think it's really good for her to have that creative outlet. She really enjoys it. I would probably, the correct thing would be to say math, but she's doing really good at math right now. And I've noticed that if I take a couple days off on math, she's okay. She can come back into it.
And this is one of those areas where we want to talk about leaning into games too.
Yes.
We can talk more about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about leaning into
we don't
games.
have to necessarily prioritize that because of the game schooling mentality that we have.
Yeah. So for reading is the big one. I noticed that when, we get a couple days off on reading, I got to get her back into it. Got to get her,
it's almost like she loses confidence ground on it, right?
A little bit, yeah.
when she reads consistently every
She
day,
doesn't
a few
regress.
times a day.
She doesn't regress.
No, she doesn't.
Weeks. She might regress a couple days, and then I got to catch up on those 2 days.
And it almost doesn't seem like she's lost the knowledge as much as she gets nervous in her abilities,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when she's read to me in the morning, when she reads to you in the afternoon, she's like, oh yeah, I'm a reading machine. She just does a really great job, and she's got a lot of confidence. But I think that the more days go by when she doesn't read, I know she recently was able to visit my parents, and after we all quarantined, she was able to go down there and see them, which was great. But she came back after being there for 5 days, and she hadn't done any purposeful reading. And we sat down and was like, okay, let's do our reading. And she was like, it was almost like deer in headlights. Like, well, I don't know if I can do that. She was nervous all of a sudden. She's like, no, this is the same book that we read before you left. But I think she's in this bit of a fragile state right now with her reading, where we need to keep up that momentum.
Well, it's a very advanced skill. She's doing good at it now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something, we got to keep up on it. Like,
Right.
you cannot let it go, because it's a very thin skill. It's a very thin skill. It's kind of built on a rickety scaffolding right now.
Right.
But
We've got to keep reinforcing it.
Just keep the reinforcement. So what we would suggest is for you to sit down and look at what you got to do. Look at what you're trying to accomplish. What is the most important thing with respect to learning and skills? And so for me, the second one would be art. Why for me art? Because I have seen her best handwriting development, her best control of fine motor skills with the pen movement coming from art. So it allows me to retain her writing, a lot of the copy work we're doing now, without actually having her just do a bunch of copy work. The art allows me to continue to not only develop, but also maintain that skill of handwriting. But it also gives me the creative outlet. It's also something I can do anywhere and any time. So crafting, holiday crafting, things of that nature, doing drawings for, whatever the holiday is, doing cards, handmade cards for, grandparents or friends and whatnot. It's a great way to kind of dovetail the activity of homeschooling with, the fun of the holiday. And so that's why I would choose those two. And I think those are the two that we're going to go into the holiday season on that. For me, reading is the most important. And normally we would spend, 20, 30 minutes a day doing that. I think I'll have to dial it back just a little just to be achievable. I think I'll focus a lot on just the cards, doing the letter reinforcement, the reading cards, the few sight words that we've had to memorize, just keeping to reinforce that, because that's kind of the base level.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pull out the Frederick app here and there. We'll do the Khan Academy app. We've mentioned in the past, giving that as kind of a reward for behavior, or, if I need to fill some time, I'll be able to give her that. So pulling in those additional tools to help keep the learning happening during that time period and allow me to continue to achieve, if not grow her reading skills, maintain the reading skills through that time.
And I think you'll be able to grow them. I think the most important thing is you need to figure out what is essential and what is nice to have. And so, if you can keep those essentials going, like, you're winning. It is in my book, right? If you can keep the things that are most important, there's plenty of other enrichment things that we're doing, but there's lots of enrichment stuff around the holiday time periods too. So there's lots of opportunities for art.
So talk a little bit about some ideas on how to do enrichment.
Right. So we have so much going on, right? So obviously food, whether you're celebrating Christmas or Hanukkah or winter solstice or anything, that food, right? Wow. Food is a big part. So there's going to be lots of cooking. There's lots of opportunity to bring your children into that. That's a great opportunity to exercise reading skills and math and some creativity with decorating or presentation, right? Our daughter loves to like display the food.
Yeah,
right?
She likes that's the creativity aspect.
Yeah, she loves that part of it, which I never really think of. I mean, I think about, cooking it, but I don't, and then people eating it. I don't think that much about how I'm going to present it on the plate. And that's really big for her. So she really likes that presentation part of it and that creative outlet. So involving them in the cooking and then diving down into the tradition of why we do what we do. Why do we eat turkey? Why do we, right? All the things that you do at your holiday. Your family probably has so many traditions, and I think it's great. Obviously, we bring our kids into our family traditions, but to kind of talk through that history with them. My family has I don't know, many people probably do this, I don't know, but my family has a tradition that when it strikes midnight New Year's Eve, we go out the back door and we walk around the house in the whatever weather it is, snow, rain, cold. We walk around the house and we come back in the front door and we welcome the new year as if we're coming in fresh. And I don't know, that's our tradition, but
we do that at 9:00 because we're on the West Coast and we celebrate with New York and then we go to bed.
Right. Because we
don't
stay up late anymore.
Who could stay up at midnight?
But we keep the tradition.
Yeah.
But the great thing about this tradition is that I'm talking to my daughter about the people in my family who started this tradition, and she's learning a lot about her great grandparents, and actually no, two great grandparents, and just all that kind of stuff. So trying to bring them into the traditions. Obviously, there's tons of opportunities for music and for crafts and for art. There's opportunities to write letters to Santa or letters to loved ones, make homemade cards. I'm not super Pinteresty. I'm not going to have a million crafts. What I would say is a great idea is to go online, go on to Teachers Pay Teachers, maybe check out even the free section, pull up a bunch of holiday coloring sheets, simple holiday worksheets, crafts, templates for cards, things like that you can just have in your hip pocket when you're busy and the kids are like, Christmas, oh my God. You can go to your stack and grab some of these enrichment activities, pull them off, hand them to the kids. They're holiday themed. I'm not going to be, some people like wrap a book every day. I've seen that. Have you seen this?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
They'll actually, Christmas wrap their special Christmas books every day, which I think is awesome. Good on you for all the people. I don't have time to wrap 25 books, but but I think that's really cool if you want to do that, or some other way that you have a special book every day.
Well, we did this for the Halloween time, and we have a bunch of Halloween themed books. And we pulled them down from the closet and we had them sitting out and we were able to read books to them and do all those type of fun things. I know we have a bunch of Christmas books.
Right. And so we have some kind of book display shelves. So we just displayed them all out there. And so that was an opportunity every day for us to read about the holiday and talk. And, one of the things I love so much about all of the different holiday stories is there's just great lessons to be learned. As far as how to act and kindness and all these good virtues and things. So it's a great opportunity to talk with your kids about some of that kind of on the emotional skills side, which is terrific. So there's lots of great opportunities in the holidays, and these are all homeschooling opportunities, reading books to them, doing crafts, involving them in your cooking,
Yeah.
Getting outside in nature, and maybe you want to go outside into your backyard and collect bits and pieces from trees and pine cones and things. Make your own wreath. I mean, you
yeah.
can, talk about the changing of the seasons and the different animals. There's so many great nature documentaries about this time of year.
Yeah,
And
just a little bit of a thoughtfulness if you can do, a morning basket, or, on the Sunday you can kind of come up with a bunch of ideas for the coming week, put out a basket here, put out a basket here for activities for them to do. Maybe you need to kick them outside, Hope Helm style.
that's
And,
right.
and you need to get some stuff done. So toss them out back, give them some activity, go to the dollar store, get a couple, fun things that are holiday themed that they can go do outside, or, get a basket full of, small little toys that they can have that they can play with, or, a pack of Legos every day, like you're going to do with the Advent calendar.
So yeah, I actually got a Lego Advent calendar, which is cool. And they
Yeah.
were on sale, and I was able to get one. But if not, you could also just even put little bags of Legos or something similar like that, some little toy, and give it every day. If you don't want to do candy, I always looked forward to candy
Yeah.
when I was a kid. But the idea is you may have to jettison the curriculum that you had planned. That's what we
Yeah.
plan to do. We're working through Blossom in Early Years Volume 2. We're going towards the finish of that, and we're just going to jettison a lot of it for December because it's going to get mucked with. We'll probably get 2 weeks done for 5 weeks worth of time.
We'll probably continue with the literature because, we just read all the time. So that's not a hard thing to do.
We'll continue with it, but I'm not going to beat ourselves up. If it's not coming together, I would say just find another way to find something that's enriching, but don't get bogged down. This is a busy time. The most important thing is that you're with your kids. It's family time. And, if some things slide, just focus on the things that are most important and bring in all the enrichment stuff. If they're Christmas obsessed, then Christmas crafts is.
We're homeschoolers, right? We're all about, following the interest of the learner, taking advantage of the learning outside of the quote unquote classroom. We're masters at that. That's where we excel. And we're in one of those times of the year, especially, in our country, it's just completely filled with huge monumental holidays. I mean, these are the end of the year is the quartet of big holidays, right? The big ones. And we have all this great enrichment just built into the culture, built into the expectations of everybody around us, whether you're secular or very religious. It's all built around these big holidays here at the end of the year. And, these are great opportunities to, get books from the library that are themed that way, or do activities and crafts. Build a special corner in the house where it's just your kids' corner, and they can do artwork, set up their own little Christmas tree.
That's what we're going to do for our daughter.
Yeah, be proud of something that they've done. You have
hang up all their holiday artwork in one area they can decorate to their heart's content.
All that type of stuff. So that's a great idea. If you want to give your kids a corner of the house that they can, show off to their family, all these things, and they can populate it and build cards and build crafts for the thing. And then they can show off their corner of the house. It's just a great opportunity just built into the nature of the holiday for us to just, we don't even have to think about it. We can just go with what the cultural holiday is and just run with these great activities. And it's very enriching, very, deeply gratifying to share that with your kids, and just, a little bit of thoughtfulness can go a mile. Head over to the Dollar Tree, head over to your Fred Meyer, pick up a bunch of little activities. Doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Create a fulfilling time period for your kids as you homeschool through these holidays. Pick those important things that you got to do. For us, it's going to be reading, where we will be, our traditional homeschooling experience, but we will tighten our homeschooling day to be a very short period of time, and then really embrace the rest of the, the holiday season for that.
Yeah, and I would say too, this is a time when it's overwhelming for kids, right? There's a lot going on, and we always find with our daughter, when she just gets so excited about something and her mind is going, that bringing her back to that connection with us, and this is where we just lean so heavily into reading aloud to her and quiet time. Pick audiobooks, lower the lights maybe, you can light candles or just dim the lights. Creating calming environments for them, I think, is really good through this time of year too. Kind of making things cozy, because it is it is very exciting for them, and they can just be 25 days of amped in the month of December. So that's important too. One other thing we wanted to talk about, if you are fortunate enough to be able to have family come into town, think a little bit about leveraging perhaps their unique experiences, their skills or talents, right? So Matthew's mother is a trained chef, for example. When we see her, one of the things that we can do that she can feel she's involved with homeschooling for us and pure enjoyment with her granddaughter is to, do fun cooking projects with her, to teach her something great. Maybe you've got a family member who you're going to be spending the holiday with who has lived in another country for however many years,
Yeah, have them bring pictures and show.
Or talk about their experiences, bring that in. Maybe you study that ahead with your child so they can talk about it.
Or someone's a singer, or they're in a choir, or something of that nature.
Right. I mean, there's all this time when you're visiting with family, and it's great. But you can kind of think about the skills or talents or things of or interests of the people that you're getting together with. My grandmother is a huge Yahtzee player. So if she were coming for this holiday
and poker, she's
good at poker too.
Yeah.
She's a shark. But she can't come this year, unfortunately, due to the pandemic. But if she were, we would be playing Yahtzee with my daughter in advance, getting her ready so that she and Grammy could play. So, that kind of stuff. And on that note too, this is a wonderful time to lean into your games.
Yes.
So if you can't do your formal math lesson because, things are crazy, you have people visiting, or you didn't get your reading today, or, whatever it is, there's a game for that. And so, if you want, this is a great way too to involve relatives too, to sit down and play some games with your child that are going to reinforce those skills. Your kids having fun, relatives having fun. It's all, or just you sitting down with your kids because they can't do formal lessons. They're too excited, can't pay attention to that. Games are just such a great way to continue learning in a fun way. They almost don't know that they're learning. So we would say that too. And if you want recommendations for great games, look back through our episodes. Every 2 episodes or so, we have a short bite where we recommend a game, and they all have different educational values. So look back at the games, look at your old closet, and think about how you can leverage those through the holidays. It doesn't all have to be the formal curriculum that you've planned on. We're just going to have to let some things go as we go through the holidays.
And you take care of yourself.
Yes.
You as an educator, you as a parent, this has been a very difficult year.
Very difficult.
There's been a lot of struggle, a lot of strife, a lot of loss, both emotionally and unfortunately for a lot of people, they may know somebody they've lost. Just make sure you take care of yourself, because the holidays are a really important time. They can be very stressful.
Yeah, hold your babies tight.
Yeah, we've been living through a lot of stress this year. A lot of people have been very stressed out. So definitely make sure you take some time for yourself, whether it's a bath, whether it's a hard apple cider, whether it's a...
You're speaking right to me, right?
I know. I am speaking to the person I'm looking at. Or, if it's a nice glass of whiskey when everybody's gone to sleep on Christmas. And
or some quiet time with your favorite music or your favorite book.
Definitely or your favorite podcast. Make sure you review us on iTunes, please. Thank you.
Take time for yourself. You're right. You're right. Definitely.
Absolutely.
We don't, we give so much, especially this time of year. And we as moms, I know we give so much to everyone else. We're cooking constantly. Everybody's wanting to do holiday things all the time. It's so exciting. We give a lot of ourselves. We buy 95% of the Christmas presents. The other 5% are the ones that are for us. The only Christmas presents I don't buy are the ones for me.
I give you a lot of ideas, and then you go and execute.
But it's a time of year where there's a lot of stress on everybody, and you're right. This has been a particularly crazy and stressful year.
Yes.
So don't end it by being hard on yourself.
Yeah, and the 2020 show writers, they still got some stuff up their sleeves. I'm waiting for it.
Ugh,
aliens are coming.
Your money's on aliens. I don't think I can take it. I think my heart will give out.
Listen, my money all year since like June has been on aliens.
Yes.
By the end of the year. You heard it first.
They're going to announce that there have been aliens.
They've been priming the pump. I know it. Anyway, so we all the homeschool together conspiracy hour. Anyway, so
God, I hope not.
I hope not. Take care of yourself. Take care of your kids. Do the things that are most important. Focus on your family. It's a great time of the year. Let's make it the best we can as we close out this year, and hopefully 2021 will be a lot better year.
God willing.
For everybody. And we really want to give you guys some ideas on, how to plan through these fun but yet can be very stressful time period of the year while maintaining your homeschool experience. But we like to end the show always the same way and what we're into. And this week, I'm going to talk about the younger one. So we've been doing the Hope Helms thing, throwing the kids outside early in the morning.
You make it sound like we throw them out to the wolves. We're with them. They don't go just outside.
I just finished reading White Fangs, so yes, they throw them to the wolves.
No, I mean, you're out there with them.
I am out there with them. So I've been going on these little morning walks with the girls. When the rain stops, I go like, oh my God, it's going to not rain for another 35 minutes. So we're going to go outside. And the big focus has been around the younger ones. So if you're out there and you got a younger kid, really encourage you to get outside. We can feel.
But first thing in the morning has been kind of a crucial, not just any time of day, right?
Yeah, I've really been focusing on like kind of the 8:30 in the morning. For our kids, they've been up for 2.5 hours already.
Right.
So
you might not have kids like that.
The day is not young. Us up in the northern latitudes when the sun comes up at 8 o'clock, it can. I have been going out for morning walks, socks, shoes, jackets, on the bikes. We've been going out, and the little one that I've really been focusing on is doing the idea of touch. And this is something I did with the older one when she was younger, is the idea of touching stuff and experiencing stuff, that tactile feel.
Right.
I would always,
Leaves.
I would have her in my shoulder, in my arm, and I would always have the older one when she was younger up against the wall, and I would like touch it, because it's like a concrete wall or it's a brick wall, something different and everything. So I've been doing that with the younger one. So we've been going out for these little walks. She's got her little velo bike that she kind of just
little strider bike. It's awesome. It's the first bike, and it's just so cool. We'll put a link to it in the show notes.
She doesn't really. She just kind of, I call it waddle walks with it right now, but she's getting there.
Yeah, it's super cute and great.
But we've been going on these little walks down the street, and she's been touching everything along the way, whether it's the tree, whether it's a leaf, whether it's the rocks, the grass. And I've been really getting her into, getting her experiencing the nature around her. And they're not really like full on nature walks. We're just walking down the street, in our neighborhood.
But there's so much to experience even in our street.
Well, she's finally gotten past that point. I feel like she's past that point where she's going to immediately put the thing in her mouth.
Right.
Like she'll pick up a leaf now and she'll want to hold it. Like today she was just gathering leaves in one of her hands, and she wasn't directly eating them, immediately. There was a pause. There was a pause. Like we could walk a little ways before I caught her with like a stem in her mouth, so I feel she's getting past that, kind of that baby aspect. She's starting to get into the toddler aspect, which is really nice, considering she's been walking for 10 months. She's been really enjoying that. And I have the bigger one with me. So we're kind of biking around. It's chilly out. It's not, it's not hot or anything. But she's been going around with her sister and riding her bike with her sister and kind of encouraging her into touching things. And I'm starting to see the opportunities where I can allow the older one to begin to kind of mentor the younger one. And this is
right. I've noticed her explaining to the baby, I still call her the baby, but the toddler, what the leaf is and why. And sometimes she looks back and says, no, Daddy, why does it look this way again? And so you teach her, and then she immediately parrots it to the younger.
Well, and the younger one is
great.
Just her whole world is this older one. It can get kind of dicey at times for she's just a little dangerous for her. But, with the older one, it's just this great mentor for her. And I'm starting to get that. And I've really had a good time, kind of doing these nice little walks. And for a little bit of time, we thought we were losing the morning nap. But I have found doing these morning walks, getting her outside, getting her playing with stuff, touching stuff, all that sensory input.
Yeah, the sensory.
Boom,
the more
she's going right back down.
Textures and naps, the more things that she sees and feels, it seems to really work. And you've noticed increased attention and focus from our older daughter in her homeschooling as well.
A lot of the times, what I've been doing now is going for the little walk, coming back. The younger one is ready to go back down for a nap, and luckily doing these walks, I think, kind of gasses her, and she gets back down in the nap. So what we thought we were losing the naps are coming back. That's great. And then the older one has that opportunity now where she's been outside. She's had a lot of, sensory input. She's been playing all morning. She's already eaten. She's already ready to go. And boom, at 9:30, 9:45, we can get right into our homeschooling. We can knock it out in our hour and a half. The younger one wakes up and we're back into our normal routine. So it's been really nice. She's been very focused in the homeschooling.
Yeah, I think that fresh air and outside, it helps her to come back in and focus. It's not so much the same.
She doesn't have. In the house. I've noticed she doesn't have the wiggles as much as she normally does.
Right,
and where she's kind of like little 5-year-old antsy, just always shaking. I have not seen that as much after the walks. So she's a little bit more focused, not subdued, but a little bit more. I don't know, like she's just ready to do something. She can sit and listen and do. Well,
especially it's chilly outside, right? Yeah. So you're bundling them up in their coats and their boots, and they're splashing in puddles and doing whatever. And sometimes it is rainy, and by the time you're coming in, she's a little cold. She's ready to be warm, and it's like energizing to her.
Yeah,
it really has changed. Yeah. I think I'd recommend it to folks who are struggling to kind of get going in the morning. Is getting outside first thing, whatever the weather's like, and just getting 30 minutes of fresh air and sensory experience. It seems to really have done wonders for our daughter.
Yeah, and when we're outside, she's not like going at 100%.
No, not
she's just kind of like lightly riding.
Exploration, really.
Yeah, she's lightly riding her bike in circles around us as her sister kind of waddles down the street with me and her. It's a good time for me to, pop in an earbud and listen to a podcast while we're walking. It's nice, as I always like to do. I always have an earbud in the ear. But it's a great time for us to kind of all get outside and just kind of have fun and do stuff.
Yeah, it's a nice, refreshing start to the day.
Yeah, so if you're looking for something to do in the mornings, go out for a little short walk, maybe before homeschooling starts, and see if that, helps you in your homeschooling focus with your older sibling, and maybe you can guys get that nap back for your younger one.
Yeah. I like too that when you go out for the walk, you're not going with a purpose in mind, right? It's not something for exercise as much as it's exploration. I love that time where the girls are outside and you just say, "Go explore," and they kind of go, "Oh, okay." And it's amazing to see the things that they find interesting, right? The small leaves that they're really interested in.
Today was the butler guy. We have this service in our area where they'll come and hang up your lights for us, and our neighbor was doing that, and the younger one was just like glued to watching this guy walking on top of a house, and the older one is sitting there going, "Daddy, that's not safe. He should not be doing that." That is not safe. I'm like, that is the correct answer. I don't want you on the roof. And I think the younger one was looking at him going, "How can I get up to the top of the house?" But it's great.
Cool. Even just you don't know what you're going to see. Your street.
Hey, you never know what you're going to see. Like one of the neighbors was walking both her dogs this week, and the little one was like, "Doggy, doggy, doggy." It was the first time she saw a doggy outside of our chocolate lab. Oh, it's another doggy. Yeah, I can see another doggy. It's great.
Right? Well, right. Yeah. And our older was asking, what kind of doggy is that? And yeah. So it's an opportunity. There's so many opportunities to learn and to explore. I love open-ended exploration walks. I think that they're, it's great to have a destination in mind sometimes and a specific plan. Other times it's nice to just be aimless and see what they're going to discover and be into that you might not even have noticed.
Exactly. So get outside, enjoy the weather, even if it's cold and rainy. Get outside and do it, and see if that can improve your homeschooling, experience.
Yeah, start to your day. Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time.
Happy homeschooling!